to today's Los Blancos podcast. Today we will be discussing the Espanyol game in which we won 4-1. Now, it was a very interesting game. As I say this, right now as I'm recording, Barcelona are currently winning against Villarreal. It's the 52nd minute, so this podcast shouldn't take too long because I want to get back to that game. But it's Barcelona winning 2-1. Get well soon to Marc Andre ter Stegen. There was a horrible injury. Nobody should go through that. That was really, really bad. And then in the other game, today I watched a Man City versus Arsenal. Wow, what a game that was when they finished 2-2. By the end of this podcast, maybe we could have the view that Barcelona give up the lead, but you're not here to talk about Barcelona. We're here to talk about Real Madrid. And yesterday, it was a 4-1 victory against Espanyol at the Bernabeu. And I think it was a good game. Listen, we've obviously had a poor start to the season in terms of the performances, but I think it definitely is getting better. And I think this game especially, I think it showed that there was a lot of good chances in this game. Not, I wouldn't say great chances, but a lot of half chances where you'd say the games in which previously we hadn't been creating those chances. And some of these chances, well, it may be bad shots for me or you listening to this podcast right now. I think it may be a bad shot for us, but for somebody like Jude Bellingham or for Kylian Mbappe, it's a fantastic shot to take some of these shots from outside the box. So that's something to be said. We create these chances, which was much, much better. But I think let's start with the story of the game because I think before this game, we obviously rested Vinicius after the midweek game, and I think going into this game, I thought we had enough to get the job done without Vinicius, but clearly not. Vinicius comes on, and he was absolutely pivotal in us coming back in this game and winning the game because this was our first remontada of the season. Hopefully the first of many. Actually, do I want to say first of many? Maybe it would be better if we just win 4-0, but every game. But whatever. It was a fantastic game from Vinicius Junior. That pass for the first goal. Wow. I mean, we know that Vinicius has got that Trivela on lock now, but to pull it out in this high pressure moment, even when Rodrigo's not exactly making that run, he's not exactly anticipating that ball in. And still Vinicius makes that ball, and it's so precise and it's so fantastic. It's just like that, a little bit to the left, that ball, and the goalkeeper collects it a little bit to the right, and the defenders are able to clear it. It's just so perfectly put into where Rodrigo can get it, and it's just fantastic from Vinicius Junior. And his creativity so far this season has been fantastic. I'm excited to see more, and I don't know when the Ballon d'Or is given. I think it's November, but when that Ballon d'Or is given, I better see Vinicius on getting that award in the end of it. So yeah, once again fantastic, and then the second goal, Vinicius, or the third goal, I should say rather, for Vinicius, it was fantastic once again. I mean, his movement, and that these are the counterattacks that Real Madrid need more often. I think it's obviously where we're going to hurt the opposition the most, which is off those counters where, we've got, three of our quick attackers going up against Espanyol's slower defenders, and they made them pay today with Mbappe's pass in behind, and it was really, really good pass. Vinicius, really excellent finish. We know that Vinicius at this point does not really mess up those chances too often, I'd like to say. And so, yeah, it's a great finish from Vinicius to get his first goal of the game. A really, really big game from Vinicius Junior. And it comes back to the thing where if you put Vinicius on the bench and bring him on later on in the game, it's just like it is a cheat code because Vinicius off the bench is impossible to deal with because you haven't had the time to kick him apart and get into his head. He's coming off the bench with a reset mind and ready to play, and with all those fresh legs, against an Espanyol defense that are already tired from onslaught of Rodrigo, Mbappe, and Bellingham and Arbolero constantly going at you. Then if you bring on Vinicius Junior, it's just like, when will it end? This that's what I'm sure the Espanyol defenders are thinking. So it's obviously a cheat code to have Vinicius off the bench. It's like it's almost impossible to deal with. And I think maybe it's something we should use a little bit more often in these smaller games when maybe if we can drop Vinicius. I think Vinicius is definitely the guy who comes off the bench and could have the most impact, which is obviously a shame because Vinicius is our best player. So those are like contradicting. But nonetheless, if some games where Vinicius needs a little bit of rest, don't have the hesitation because you can always bring him on and he will go and give you this performance because he can change the game in an instant. And when he's not being affected by the intensity of the game, that's just a cheat code in my opinion, and something that we should definitely look to use in the games following, later on this season. My next point, I think, let's talk about the other two attackers I want to talk about is Rodrigo and Arda. I think first off, our most dangerous player in my opinion was Arda, constantly trying to take on his man and creating chances for us. There was that one where he headed the ball down to Mbappe, and Mbappe really should have scored it. And you look at this, he creates a lot of these half chances for our attackers, and unfortunately he didn't get another goal contribution today. So so far this season he doesn't have a single goal contribution, but I think it's more than evident when you watch him that he definitely deserves it, and he is clearly, whenever he plays, he is, let's say, one of the top three most contributing players in our team, because he's just constantly making himself useful in the game, making himself impactful in the game. And I was a bit disappointed to see him being subbed out, because I thought he had been our best player up until the point where he got subbed out. And so when Rodrigo, I thought Rodrigo was much more deserving to come out, because up until the sub he was largely non-existent. But when he switched back onto the right, he was excellent, and he definitely improved his performance. So Carlos' decision got vindicated in the end. But nonetheless, Arda obviously I thought had a really good game, and I think it's so clear to see how much this team changes when we've got Arda here, because at the end of the day we create so many chances when Arda on the pitch. He's just like, he is a very, very impactful player to have, and to bring off the bench or to start him, I think it's more and more evident that this guy is a really, really increasingly more important figure at this club. So I'm really happy with Abdullah, and hopefully that goal and those goals and assists come in the next few games when our teammates, when the teammates start knocking the balls in, when Mbappe starts converting those chances. But speaking of Rodrigo, I thought first half and up until the substitution when Vini came on, I thought Rodrigo was quite poor. I didn't think he was that great off the left, obviously where we love to see him. But nonetheless, we still we persist, and at the end of the day, we just have to move on, right? But I think Rodrigo, when he moved on to the right, I think he was much so he impacted the game quite a lot when he came onto the right hand side. And so he obviously scored the big goal, the one that so gave us the lead in this game. And overall, I just thought when he came onto the right hand side, he just you could see he's very, very confident. And I just want to say, so far this season, I've been very convinced by Rodrigo's performances. I think he's been a really, really top attacker for us. And on the right especially, I think he's looked increasingly better. I think he's understood the importance of being tactically a bit more rigid, being positionally a bit less fluid, and trying to move on to the left. I think he's trying consciously to stick to the right, and it's working for this team. Whenever he sticks to this right hand side, we create a lot more chances, we are a lot more impactful, and it's a lot better for our team overall. So I think it's definitely something Rodrigo's performances definitely dictate how we play as a team, but obviously his movement for the goal, very, very good. And overall, another top performance from Rodrigo, and I'm really happy with him. As we move into the next few games, Alaves next, and then obviously next week we've got the dreaded one at the Metropolitano against Atleti. But really important performance from Rodrigo. And while we're here, let's talk about the final attacker. I thought Mbappe. Listen, I've already made a lot about Mbappe's goal scoring, which once again was quite poor. He should have scored off of open play yesterday, sorry, and that should have been rather easy for him. But at the end of the day, you just gotta take it and move on. I think overall his performance was, I thought this was his best performance as a whole, because I thought he was getting his teammates involved really well. I thought, the way he got Rodrigo and Bellingham in particular, I thought, really benefited off of Mbappe. I think the way he got these two playing was really good. And I think overall that his presence was really good in this game. And I think going forward, having this guy who's gonna knock the ball down and try and hold up a little bit more, try and link up a little bit more up front, I think it's largely beneficial. And obviously we're going to keep saying it, but when the goals come, then all this criticism's going to get off his back. By the end of the day, he does kind of have 5 goals already. It doesn't seem like it because 3 of them have been penalties, but nonetheless, it's still really important for Mbappe to be playing well, playing like this, and hopefully he can continue and keep scoring. Hopefully a few more to open play as well. So yeah, so far I was much improved from the performance wise for Mbappe, and I'm really happy with him. Let's talk about what should we talk about next? Let's talk about, I think we should talk about Fran Garcia, because this has been a point of topic for me, especially. I think Sean hasn't made too much of it, but for me, I think Ferland Mendy's performances so far this season haven't been great, I thought, and I think at the end of the day, Ferland Mendy's strength has never been in attacking, apart from when he was at Lyon. He was actually a pretty good attacker at Lyon, but yeah, he's never been a positive attacker. But so far this season, he hasn't been great defensively either. So it just begs the question: what's the point of playing Ferland Mendy if he's not going to bring the defensive ability? But I think the main thing about this is that the fact that, for me, I think Fran Garcia has been really good offensively so far this season, and overall his presence has been positive. I think his presence on the left hand side, getting up and down, has been really good. And the fact is that last season we saw him a bit as a defensive liability at points. I think this season so far has been much better. I think he's been a lot calmer in his mindset. And one of the main questions I had with him is, what's he going to do when he doesn't have an aerial target in the box to swing the crosses into, like we had with Joselu. Now he's definitely getting up the pitch. He's continued to do that, and he's linking up a little bit more. He's playing a lot better, and I think I'm being really happy with Fran Garcia's performances so far this season. For me, I think his performances have warranted a few more games, a few more playing time, a little bit more playing time. And I think the next game in particular, Alaves, at home, I'd like to say. Alaves at home, I don't think we're going to Mendizorroza. But yeah, Alaves at home, I think is a huge game that we could play. And I think he should definitely play that next game. So I'd be excited to see that one. The 2 centre backs, Militao and Tchouaméni. I thought Militao off corners was fantastic, and I've got to say, the set piece delivery from Modric was pinpoint. It was fantastic, non-stop. Is on the attacker's head non-stop, and Militao should have scored off a corner, but nonetheless he was getting up there for the corners, and defensively he's continued his really good defensive season. So I was happy with Militao after this game. And Tchouaméni, just a solid game. There was nothing in particular. Obviously, he gave Rudiger a rest for the first time in probably 2 years. But yeah, a really important game for the rest of Rudiger, and good that we got the win in the end, and so we can move Tchouaméni back into the midfield. Like I said, the corner delivery was perfect, pinpoint perfect from Luka Modric, and we can only ask for more of that, because it won't be long before these guys start converting more and more of these corners. I thought Dani Carvajal, obviously, with goal was really good movement from him, and I think obviously defensively I don't think he was so good, but there wasn't too much to deal with. Joffrey Carrera came and he scored that off of Thibaut Courtois' legs, but he was causing quite a few problems off that left hand side. And going into this game, I had my eyes on Javi Puado, someone who potentially could have had to cause problems for us, but it wasn't him who actually caused us problems. It was Joffre. But at the end of the day, we dealt with them pretty well, apart from when Courtois made that blunder, which is unusual for Courtois at this stage. But what can you do? You just got to move on. And luckily, it didn't cost us anything in this game. So at the end of the day, I'm able to overlook that one mistake because he didn't cost us anything, and he barely ever makes mistakes. So I'm completely fine with that. And one more thing I want to talk about is that midfield dynamic. I really, really enjoyed what Jude Bellingham was doing on that left-hand side, which was, it was a weird movement, but he was trying to get in off the, in between the left winger and the striker. Jude Bellingham was making that run from the midfield where he wouldn't get tracked from his opposition midfielder. He would just make that run, moving into the defence, moving past the defence. He'd get the ball, pick up the ball, and he would smash it across, trying to get the ball through to the other side. And it worked on one occasion with the Carvajal. He could have had a few more where it just squeezed through Joan Garcia in goal for Espanyol, but unfortunately it was only the one. But I really enjoyed that movement from Jude Bellingham overall. Once again, it was just an important game from Jude Bellingham. It's just like this guy plays so well, and it seems so important that we have it. I do want to see one thing from Fede Valverde, which is a bit more freedom of movement. In this game he couldn't do it so much because he didn't have a defensive midfielder behind him. But I think going forward, I think he should be the one. Where Dani Carvajal was, I think it should be Fede Valverde meeting the end of that cross and banging that goal in. I also think that he should be doing what Jude Bellingham was doing on the right hand side, so that we have a little bit more of that symmetry. I don't think symmetry is too important, but especially when this team is so favoured to the left, if we have a little bit more symmetry on the right, I think that can cause so many problems for the opposition. And one more thing of praise for Fede Valverde. It seemed like every time we won the ball back, it was through Fede Valverde just working his way back and defending his arse off, and it was fantastic from him. And then going forward, he made one of those lung busting runs from deep in his half, and then all the way up, and it led to the second goal of the game for us. So it was a really important performance from Fede Valverde, as it always is, which is why he's undroppable, which is why he's the first man on the team sheet. And I think again, where would we be without Fede Valverde? So another huge game from him. But I think one last thing we'll talk about. Endrick comes off the bench. Really important performance from him. Not important, but really good performance from him. Going forward, I think he was really good. And the play where he won the penalty was fantastic. To keep the ball in play there was really smart. And then to dribble it past who was it who committed the penalty? I'm forgotten who it was. But I think nonetheless it was really clever play from Endrick to get past. Was it? I'm just pulling it up right now, but my phone isn't working. But it was really clever play from Endrick to beat Carlos Romero, and in the end it was a smart play. And so he wins the penalty, and I see so many people on Twitter and they're just crying out at the penalty. It's just like, how can you not say that is a penalty? It's like, I understand if you think he didn't fall in the box, but he did. Like, Romero was literally just hugging him from outside the box, running all the way in. He continues holding him in, and just as they enter the box together, Romero lets go. I understand if you don't understand the rules, but stop chatting if you don't understand it. Like it's that simple. But what can you do? What can you do at the end of the day? Endrick, really fantastic player. I was hoping he would take the penalty, but he didn't. He had another chance where he could have scored one. That would have been really good to see. But what can you do? That's about it. And hopefully, I'm looking forward to it. But I would like to see Endrick play against Alaves on Tuesday night. I would like to see his I don't know why we're playing on Tuesday if we're playing on Sunday. Saturday. No, I'm being stupid there. We didn't play on Sunday. Today's Sunday. Yeah, so we're playing Alaves on Tuesday. And then next week we've got the big one next Sunday, 8 o'clock game, which I don't know. It's last game of the weekend. I don't know what. There's something about it, but last game of the weekend at the Metropolitano, Civitas Metropolitano, we're playing Atletico Madrid. We're currently on our best run ever. I think it is 38 matches unbeaten. Really positive from us, and I'm really happy about it. Yeah, we've just pulled 1 point closer to Barcelona, which Barcelona are going to extend it. They're winning 3-1. It's the 33rd minute of the game, and Villarreal had a goal disallowed, so get ready to make some noise about that. But yeah, that's about it. We've got Alaves on Tuesday, and then we'll be back next Sunday for a Atletico Madrid preview, which I always enjoy doing. And hopefully we don't get absolutely done by Atleti at this point, but it's not a good time to play Atleti. I enjoy playing Atleti though. It's always a fun time playing against Atletico Madrid. And yeah, that is it for today. I hope you guys have enjoyed today's Espanol review. Yeah, that is it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.